Hey guys, welcome into another YouTube video. This one is about mortgages. It's mostly going to be quite low level stuff that we're covering, so if you're experienced with mortgages, you probably already know all this stuff. It's also going to focus on investors as opposed to owner occupied. So a mortgage allows you to invest 5 times the amount of money that you have, or under current rules for investors, it's 2.5 times. That allows you to buy property sooner than if you had to save up the entire amount of cash. And mortgages come in a wide variety of types, formats, sizes, interest rates, rules, and all that. So there's not only is there like bank mortgages, there's also non-bank mortgages. So companies like Resimac, they are non-bank lenders and they have different rules than regular banks. Sometimes they can lend you more money than a bank can. If you're self-employed, they probably more than likely can. Like incomes that banks wouldn't generally use or consider income, non-bank lenders can generally consider, because they don't have the same legal stipulations behind them. So inflation is good for people with mortgages. Especially at current mortgage rates. So current mortgage rates are around 2.55% fixed for 1 year. And currently inflation is at 3.3% year over year to June, according to the CPI data. Inflation probably won't stay that high, so you keep that in mind, but that's just like a snapshot in time. It's just what we're looking at right now. And because the value of the New Zealand dollar is devaluing by 3.3% over this past year, you're essentially incentivized to take out as much loans as possible. So you want to be leveraged up, like have your mortgage as big as possible, really, because the NZ dollars that you have are going down in value, and then also the New Zealand dollars that you are loaning from the bank are also going down in value. So you want to borrow as much as possible and then invest it into either other property or into stocks. But there's also a problem with that. As soon as interest rate starts going up and inflation starts heading back down, probably there's going to be a bit of a deleveraging where a lot of investments will head down a bit in value. So if you saw like a large increase in mortgage rates, then generally speaking in the past that's pushed property prices down. And same in this, this level of inflation isn't that common, so there's not much to base a theory on, but as inflation starts to head down as well, that statement will become less true. So yeah, at the moment you're essentially getting paid to have a mortgage because inflation is greater than the mortgage rate. That's assuming you're actually investing that money. Like you're not just leaving it in cash. If you take the money out on a mortgage and then leave it in cash, then the dollars that you're borrowing are devaluing as well as the loan devaluing. So no point in doing that. Yeah, inflation won't likely stay this high, but while it is as high, it's in your best interest to be as highly leveraged as possible. So leveraging for capital gain. If you purchase a house 100% cash, as this is like the base case, then you'll always own the one house. If you sell it, even if you had a capital gain, because all the other houses have gone up in value, you'll still only be able to buy one house. But if you are leveraged with a mortgage, the mortgage doesn't go up as your property does. So this allows you to take money out on the house in the form of refinance or a mortgage top-up. So that means you're removing equity that's been gained due to market appreciation. And then you still got the house and you've also got cash in your bank account. So if you have a large enough capital gain, which is easier if you have multiple properties, then you'll have enough cash for a deposit on another house. So once you have enough cash for another deposit and you buy another house, you can repeat the cycle. So it can be repeated as long as the property market is going up. If the property market goes down, then your equity is going down, and you can't take out more leverage on anything below the current legal minimums. So for investors, 40%, and owner-occupied 20%. So you increase equity from market appreciation or renovation. So you can actually do a bunch of renovations. You can borrow money against the house to do renovations. You just got to make sure that those renovations that you're doing increase the value of the house more than the money you're spending on the renovations. So if you're paying a company to do the most fabulous, beautiful bathroom or kitchen renovation, you're probably going to lose money if you're like doing that to sell. You should only really do that if you're planning on making it nice for you to live in, and you accept that that cost is a comfort cost. Otherwise, you should be looking for like cheap alternatives, affordable renovations, and I mean, in my opinion, just doing it yourself. It's the best way to do it if you have the skill. Yeah, so you're increasing your loan from the bank, and you're able to purchase another house with that money, provided your income allows you to qualify for the loan. Yeah, so the limit on it is income. Banks won't lend you infinite money, and neither will non-bank lenders, without you being able to afford the repayments. So yeah, definitely a huge limitation is income, especially in New Zealand, where rental yields are not very high. Currently, most residential property in New Zealand doesn't cash flow on a P&I, so principal and interest mortgage, meaning it'll cost you money to own the property rather than pay you rental income. So that's only in like a how it seems kind of way, because with a principal and income, principal and interest, you're paying down the principal of the mortgage as well as paying interest. So technically, you're kind of like transferring that money from one of your bank accounts to another for the principal pay down. So yeah, you're not technically losing money by owning the house, but you also don't have enough cash flow to like put into your bank account each week. Like it goes away on the mortgage, so it doesn't help you very much to qualify for more lending. Whereas if you've got a property that's cash flow positive, banks like to see it, and you can use that income to qualify for more lending. If you manage to find a high cash flow property, then well done. It's good at the start to get some high yielding properties so that you can like increase your income. But there's a lot of investors these days that just invest for capital gain, which is, I mean, for me, it's kind of a bit scary or risky just investing for a capital gain, because if the market did downturn, if you're just like speculatively investing for capital gains, then you're no longer making money at all, and you could potentially be forced to sell at some point, depending how leveraged you are and what your income's like and whatnot. But you will be in a very bad position if the market goes down. Whereas if you're investing for cash flow and you actually have a positive cash flow going, then even if the market downturns, you can still afford all your repayments, and you don't have to really stress about trying to sell anytime soon. Especially if it's like well in the positive, then you've still got money coming in. Doesn't matter what the market's doing, so long as that money is still being able to cover, or that rental income is still being able to cover all the expenses. And yeah, that's all I've got for this little video here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to support the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment with any video suggestions below. Have a great day. See ya.